It's new from Tom Ford, it's got leather in it, and I got a compliment. From a female.
From a female.
So it's a 2018 release from Tom Ford. It's part of the Signature line as opposed to the private blend. Comes in a different bottle to the rest of the Signature line, which usually comes in one of these two styles of bottle. So whether this is just a one-off for this release or if there'll be more signature fragrances in this bottle design remains to be seen. Let's look at the notes. Not an extensive note breakdown given for this, I'm just going off for Grantica. In the top we've got cardamom, jasmine, sambac and leather. In the base, patchouli, amber and moss. There are going to be some obvious comparisons made with Tuscan Leather, and it is a very similar scent, but there are a few differences. So before I compare it directly with Tuscan Leather, I'm just going to talk about this scent and what I get from it. So in the opening you get this lovely mixed fruits accord, which is sweet, and you also get the leather, so the sweetness balances perfectly with the leather. What also balances things out and rounds things out beautifully is the note of jasmine in this. I have an essential oil of jasmine and it's one of my favourite notes, one of my favourite essential oils, and it's smooth, it's rounded, it's sweet. It's a really pleasurable note, and that's why it's used a lot in perfumery. So the jasmine and the mixed fruits are just really balancing nicely with the leather, and it's stopping that leather from becoming too sharp, too potent. It almost has more of a creaminess about it, which I think makes this fragrance a bit more mass appealing, a bit more crowd pleasing than Tuscan Leather, for example. So you lose that sharp, almost animalic leather that you get from Tuscan Leather, which is often described as the smell of a new car with leather seats. So this is a bit more toned down, a bit smoother, a bit creamier, and a bit more tolerable for people around you perhaps. So we've got the fruits, we've got the florals, we've got that creamy leather. In the base there's some patchouli, amber, moss, further anchoring things down and providing depth. The compliment I got from this was at work. So I put it on for work one day and I walked past a female co-worker, and as I walked past her, she just turned to me and said, "Chris, whatever you're wearing today, it's really nice."
Really nice. Really nice.
I wanted to look at her and say, do you realise it's a leather-based fragrance? And you're a female and you've just given me a compliment? But instead I took the compliment, I said thanks very much, it's a Tom Ford. So the reason I'm making a bit of a thing about this female compliment is that it's quite well known that a lot of the time the females don't really dig Tuscan Leather as much as us guys, unfortunately. I don't know why it is, maybe it's the sharp leather, maybe reminding them of a new car is not something that excites ladies as much as it does the guys. I've recently done a video with my sister Sophie where we tested out a few from the private blend line. You can watch that one up here. And again, in that video, Sophie didn't like Tuscan Leather as much as some of the other private blends. Now, even though this gave me a compliment, I've been wearing this for, you know, maybe 2 weeks. So I did get a compliment which surprised me, and I'd never had a compliment from wearing Tuscan Leather ever. So I'm not saying that if you wear this, it's a nailed-on compliment getter. I'm just saying that it's more likely to get you a compliment than Tuscan Leather. It's a little bit more crowd-pleasing, it's smoother, it's creamier, and I think it probably just appeals to a wider range of people, more so than Tuscan Leather. I've already made a few, but I'll make a few more comparisons to Tuscan Leather, as it does seem to be based on the same DNA. So I'd say it's a little more floral than Tuscan Leather. It's not as strong as Tuscan Leather. It's creamier, it's smoother, it's more mass appealing. The fruit accord in Ombré Leather to me seems to be more of a mixed fruit accord as opposed to a prominent raspberry. Also, I would say that the performance of Tuscan Leather is better than this one. So Tuscan to me is pretty much beast mode. This isn't bad. It's still above average. I get around 2 hours projection, 8 to 10 hours as a skin scent. So still very reasonable performance, no complaints really. The other difference is that in Tuscan, that leather and raspberry combo seems to remain as a skin scent for the life of the fragrance, whereas this loses that leather and fruits and just seems to settle more into its base notes for the last few hours of its life. When making comparisons, the other good thing about this one is the price. So this is cheaper than Tuscan Leather, with that being part of the private blend. Tuscan Leather will set you back for 50ml £162, for 100ml £238. These are prices that I've just found by doing a quick search on UK websites. They seem to be the best prices. 50ml of this will cost you £82, 100ml £115. So it is cheaper, but it is still expensive for a designer fragrance. I would wait until you can get this in a sale or at discounters. I managed to get this in a 20% discount sale, so I got this for around £65 for 50ml. I thought that was really reasonable price for this scent. I don't think I would have wanted to pay full retail. Having said that, this is based on Ombre Leather 16, which used to be part of the private blend and is now discontinued. I haven't smelled that one, but I've seen reviews where people have said that they are familiar with the Ombre Leather 16 private blend and that they think that this is exactly the same composition. So when you think of it like that, you're getting 50ml for £82, or if you can get it even cheaper than that in a sale, it's pretty decent value. I really love this juice. It's got a beautiful juxtaposition of elegance and attitude. It's smoother, creamier, more mass appealing than Tuscan Leather. It's also cheaper. You're essentially getting private blend quality for signature line prices with this one. If I was to rate it, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. So there you go, almost full marks. So if you love Tuscan Leather, but the price to you is unjustifiable, then Ombre Leather is definitely worth sniffing out. Okay, that's my take on Ombre Leather from Tom Ford. If you've tried this and you're also familiar with Tuscan Leather, let me know how you think it compares. Leave some comments down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching everybody, and until next time, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good.